Hello. A lot of faces looking at me. I'm not going to give a speech, so forget that. I'm just going to tell you about what we did. Now, I just want to verify what my father said, that we're basically just a family working together for the common good of our country to try and solve one of the greatest mysteries that this country's had. And we're not aviation people like some of the other people are searching. We're just common old Kiwi folk, do it yourself, number 8 wire type, and it's because of that we're tackling it from a totally different perspective. It's the type of methods that we use are not probably perfect, but it's unique to the type of lifestyle that we live, which is we don't use winches when we're climbing, we use a piece of rope and a few sticks. And it's been very successful for what we've been doing. To get into this search location where we search, we have to drive for about 2 hours up a long shingle dusty road, and it fills everything with dust. We're choking on it by the time we get there. When we get there, Evan Blanche was, when he heard it go over, that's where we made our base, which is now belongs to Lex Purim and his wife, the old Forest Services camp, and we gear everything up from that point to travel up the next leg of the journey, which involves hooking 2 Land Rovers together, double-headed, and a caravan on behind that, an old classic caravan, and we tow it literally up a shingle riverbed with boulders, and it takes about 2 hours to do about 4 miles, 5 miles, something like that. It takes a long time. You've got to have somebody walking in front to check that it's okay, that there's no nasty boulders that will give you a puncture. Once we get it up to the place where we have our outpost, we then pitch camp. And it's not a usual camp. It's a camp that has a washing machine and it has a power generator. And we even build a dam for a fridge. We keep all our meat in the river, just like they would have done years ago. When we need some meat, we go out in the evening and shoot a few rabbits, or hares if the rabbits aren't around. And then, to do the searching, we go out each day to how do you put it? Instead of just walking at random in the bush, we set out certain places in the evening for the next day, and we grid search, which means that we're connected with radios, we have whistles, and we have GPSs. The GPSs lay a track of where we're actually going. The whistles keep us in touch if we're, say, 50 yards apart. the radio keeps in touch if we're over that distance. But we're actually walking through the bush, 3 abreast, at that distance, and we're checking the ground for anything that could be unusual. It could be a stick, it could be a rock, it could be anything. And it takes us up into some really rugged country where that's what I was saying, that when you're grid searching, you can't actually detour off your course that you're actually going on. You actually, if you say you're going in that direction, you have to go in that direction, literally, even if there's a 1,000-foot cliff in front of you. If the cliff's absolutely impossible to climb or descend, then what we do is we go around it and then come back at the foot of the cliff and continue on our course. We're able to do that with the help of the GPS. But it's virtually impossible to do, but I think that's why we like it, because of that impossibility, we're not going to let it beat us. And with the research that we've done, we firmly believe it's in the area where we're looking, because a lot of people have different ideas about what actually happened, but we're absolutely certain in our mind that the crash is likely to be from either one of 2 causes. It's either carburetor icing or running into cloud. It can only be those 2 causes. If neither of these things had happened, the plane would not have crashed. Therefore, from our family's point of view, we do not believe that Captain Chadwick made any error of judgment. People are very hasty to condemn a dead man who cannot defend himself. And I'd like to say here, our family intends to stand up for justice, for what is fair and noble. We refuse to pass judgment on Captain Chadwick until the remains are found and the true cause of the tragedy revealed. That is the reason why we've gone in a completely different direction to the mainstream thinking. Our research that we've done has proven Captain Chadwick to be a caring, sensible and experienced pilot, but prone to getting into scrapes. We all have evidence of what the most experienced pilots can do with the recent balloon crash in the North Island with those 11 people. Very experienced pilot, but tragedy happened. What we want to do is find the aircraft without making judgment. Once the aircraft's found, then we'll know exactly what happened and the matter will be laid to rest. But we don't believe that it's fair to criticise a dead man who can't protest. So our family has taken up the challenge to defend him. And the reason, like I say, the reason why we're searching up there is because all our evidence actually points in that direction. A lot of people say about the weather being black on the west coast, on the main divide, that he wouldn't have been able to get through to the coast, that he would have had to crash in there. But something that we've actually found out for our researchers, that anything is possible. He could have got through to the other side, because even on the darkest, dirtiest days, there can be little gaps in the weather, little pockets that will actually get you through. What we actually believe that Chadwick did, I'm not saying we say he did, but we believe it is a possibility, is that he was flying up Lake O'Hare. He came round from Twizel, came around the bottom because he was sighted and heard and all that, come out round Lake O'Hare and flew up the lake. People heard him there. Evan Blanche was the last person that heard him before it vanished. We believe that it is possible that he saw when he came around the corner, it's clear, I can get through. And any experienced pilot is quite within his right to go through there. What must have happened after Evan Blanche heard him go over is the weather clouded in again, and something's happened at that point. Because we've done tests with the Dragonfly down south, and it is totally possible to turn around and come back out of a very narrow place. The turning radius is about 350 yards, even at about half power. And it's about 1.5 miles across the valley where we're looking. So it is possible to turn. It has to be a problem with the running into the cloud or his engine's conked out, like it can do in the most modern aircraft, it can conk out. So that's why we're looking up there. So I think that's about it. I don't want to bore you silly.